Welcome again, everybody. Stretched all over the world here this morning, and it is very, very nice and my great pleasure to introduce to you our companion on this near-life journey, friend, and great networker, Björn Henriksen. Björn offered a few weeks ago to do a presentation for us, and I grabbed while the iron was hot because last month was Men's Health Month in June 2025, and Björn attended a Zoom that was put out by the head office in America, and he's going to give us a summary and interpretation of that talk for us this morning on how important this area of health is to do specifically with men. So, Björn, without giving too much more, I haven't given your credentials and all your many achievements, but we
I have
are very
credentials.
well that you are a very elite qualified chef, and you are very involved with all sorts of things in our community. So we hand over to you and thank you so much for doing this for us today.
Sure, no worries. So obviously, I am more invested in andropause. Not many people know the term, but it is just the male version of menopause, and I'm invested in it because a lot of men don't realize that this happens to them. But I have it on first-hand knowledge because it happened to me. Um, and the only reason I know that it was, in fact, andropause is because I remember my mom going through it and getting the sudden sweats, and the rise in body temperature, and from female friends telling me this happened. And when this started happening to me, I couldn't believe it. Um, and I had heard once or twice about male menopause, but I thought it was just a term for something. I didn't know it was a real thing. And I then found out about andropause a couple of years later, and then a couple of weeks ago, or that Near Life put on this was putting on this talk about andropause, and I mean, very, 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 very few people know about it. So. Um, on the first slide, um, there's just a definition of what andropause is. Rob, will you put up the first slide? So the reason most men or most people don't realize um, uh, what it is because it happens much more slowly than menopause. Um, Andropause happens from the age, sometimes even from about 35, as testosterone production slows down, and it can last for 10, 15 years, whereas the traditional female andropause is a much faster and a much more sudden process. So as it said, you'll see later on the presentation, we refer to LOH, and LOH is what is and the real term for andropause, late onset hypogonadism, um, characterized by a gradual decline in testosterone production, reduced libido, energy loss, mood changes, and decreased muscle mass. All right, then. On the next slide, there it highlights the differences between andropause and menopause. So there, like I said, it says in men it starts gradually after age 30, whereas for women it's suddenly a sudden onset between 45 and 55. There's a much slower decline in testosterone over these years, whereas for women there's a sharp drop in estrogen and progesterone. Reproductive function, obviously, for men doesn't change, but the symptoms are not too different from women. Um, in that you also get mood changes, hot. It doesn't say hot flashes there, but I had the hot flashes, so that definitely is a thing. Um, and the diagnosis is self-explanatory. On the next slide, um, we highlight the the role that testosterone plays in male health. Now, this is pretty well known, but just to go through them again, it's muscle mass and strength, fat metabolism. Your fat metabolism rate slows down, so your body changes because you tend to retain more of the fat. Your body doesn't doesn't metabolize it as well. Um, Brain fog typically comes in. Your energy and your performance also starts to dip, and your sexual health and libido starts to wane, and it tends to go up and away, come and go in waves. And so this is how important testosterone is in the male body. And of course, as andropause sets in, the testosterone production in your body slows down. All right, next slide. So when this slide is extremely important. So, and I've been through, and I will talk from experience. I've been through this. Your GP will have your testosterone levels checked, and he will tell you that for your age, that those words you'll use those words for your age, your testosterone levels are normal. But that's because they test the total testosterone, most of which is bound. So what you actually want to know is you want to know your free testosterone levels, the testosterone that is active and that is unbound, and which is available to enter into your cells and activate your androgen receptors. So on the right hand side, there's the approximate annual decline from setting from after age 30. Your total testosterone declines by 1 to 6% per year, and your free testosterone declines at a higher rate. If you look at the next slide, all this info is represented in a graph. So the green bar is your total testosterone. The orange bar is your free testosterone. And it's your free testosterone that matters here. So you can see how much faster your free testosterone decline. On the next slide, we'll delve into the health consequences of late onset hypergonadism. Like we said, there's increased body fat and muscle loss because lower testosterone contributes to increased visceral adiposity. So adiposity is refers to fat. Your adipose cells are fat cells. Your lean body mass decreases, and of course, along with that, your metabolic health suffers. Your insulin resistance appears. I have been diagnosed with, and I've been told by the doctor that I am insulin resistant. And at first, I freaked out because you automatically associate insulin with diabetes. But he then said to me, it's not diabetes. It's got nothing to do with diabetes. It's just your body's uh, a lower ability to deal with insulin. So, and also good to know that most men or most people are insulin resistant. So it's not like it's not a death threat. But as we age, we become more and more insulin resistant. Um, your higher cardiovascular mortality. Men with lower endogenous testosterone have a higher risk of all cause and cardiovascular mortality. Depressive symptoms and cognitive decline. Luckily, I don't suffer from this, but it is common. And then reduced bone density, which also found quite strange because but when you talk about bone density, it's usually women who suffer from this. But because of the lower rate of testosterone, men are also prone to reduced bone density. Next slide. So now, unfortunately, he had the presenter had started already scribbling with his pen on the screen on the slide, and I couldn't delete I couldn't erase that. But the causes of low testosterone, besides age, um, uh, which is non-modifiable in the bottom there, the modifiable causes of low testosterone are diet, stress, exercise, and sleep. So, I mean, this shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody, but a bad diet, bad high stress levels, not enough exercise, and poor sleep is obviously going to affect you, and it affects the testosterone as well. Um, and the metabolic causes, which are also modifiable, insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, and inflammation. Now, we all know how to treat inflammation, but so many people don't, and so many people don't realize that they have gut inflammation. And then obviously environmental, we cannot escape anymore nowadays. Exposure to toxins and endocrine disruptors. Bobby, can you tell us or give us examples of what endocrine disruptors are?
Yeah, put it to be put on the spot. Yeah, a lot of the
Sorry,
endocrine,
man.
not a problem. A lot of the endocrine disruptors that we have around us relate to many of the, toxins that we've got. A lot of what is probably more pronounced than anything else at the moment is a fair amount to do with different types of plastics, that we are picking up little bits and pieces from. So from very young age, in fact, this is something that's been happening. But we also have things like certain types of soy, affected. There's a whole range of different things within our food that we've got to be aware of, and a lot of these things very often relate to much of the, when we're looking at the processed foods, all the different, things that they are adding to our foods, which, basically interfere with what happens in terms of our hormone, where, things like your estrogen and other levels are impacted, either that they're exacerbated, or that, they are sort of reduced in effect. So of course, then you will get the symptoms related to
All right.
whatever those things are.
So that would be the things like well, I mean, there was a big outcry a few years ago about the BPH in plastic and
Correct.
things like that, and obviously all the additives and the colorants and things in foods.
Yeah,
So they would what they would do that
pesticides, a
disrupting,
lot of
obviously.
things we see in, number of the different household products. That's why, with Neolife, very important with, why we promote our products. We have things that, avoid that kind of thing. So, and as you say, even you mentioned BPA. I mean, like in canned linings, I've seen things like the pot of gold and things like that. They're actually using, and a lot of these people use they use a BPA lining around the canned foods. So you find it in all sorts of things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Thank you. All right. On the next slide, um, this is something that you get female hormone treatment, and obviously there's testosterone replacement therapy as well. But this is only in extreme cases. I don't think that your average man living an average life should need this. But like I said, it depends. It's in extreme cases. If he has consistent symptoms of LOH, which are extreme fatigue, low libido, erectile dysfunction, depression, decreased muscle mass, increased abdominal fat, poor recovery, or cognitive issues. So those are all if he has consistent symptoms of that. And then if it's been confirmed that he has low testosterone, which also does happen, although it's not common. Um, and then if the reversible causes, the modifiable causes cannot be reversed, um, and then also you can only have the therapy if he doesn't have prostate or breast cancer, um, sleep apnea, heart failure, elevated hematocrit. Um, but like I said, this is only in only in extreme cases that a guy would be a candidate for testosterone replacement therapy. So natural ways to support your testosterone are obviously the reverse of those modifiable causes: good exercise, good stress management, good quality sleep, and a good diet. And then, so if we delve into those on the next slide, they actually expand on the types of exercise which are best to maintain or your testosterone levels. So the first type is resistance training, so strength training with weights or machines. So you find there that your response was moderate to high. The chronic impact was slight, or the slight improvement, and it is the best for long-term testosterone support and lean mass. Second to that is this something which is very popular in gyms and with personal trainers, the high intensity interval training, otherwise known as HIIT. It was a moderate response to that, and it's still superior to other forms of exercise, but obviously not as good as resistance training. So this makes me very happy because I'm always against everything that's the newest trend. And if you walk into gyms nowadays, you'll find groups of people being led by a trainer doing the high intensity interval training, which is typically, as the name says, you do a very high intensity training, um, shaking ropes, doing press ups, star jumps, all the rest of it. You do that for a minute, and then you rest for 30 seconds, and that would be the interval, and then you start again. So it's a waves of exercise. But yeah, I'm not a fan. I actually prefer cardio, which I now see that I should not be doing, or not that I shouldn't be doing, but not going to help me at all. The steady state cardio, and steady state obviously means walking or running on a treadmill in a constant state. Um, the response was low, um, and you can actually do yourself a disservice if you overdo it. So if you know any men who go to the gym or they go on runs, and they're running for an hour or something like that, this actually it doesn't help. It doesn't help them at all. And then excessive endurance is actually the worst. And if you look at the notes at the end there, it's actually linked to high cortisol, um, and HPG suppression. And I can't remember what HPG suppression was, but it doesn't sound good. So it's clear from this then that the best training for this is resistance training, so strength training. All right, and the next slide we get into how near life can help and support us in exercise. The near life shake, obviously, because it delivers a high quality protein. Obviously, the performance protein for sportsmen, and then something we don't get here yet, hopefully, and I say yet, hopefully, is a near life product which is available in the US. It's called Upbeat, which is obviously by the name, it tells you that it's a beetroot extract. I know that endurance cyclists, they use beetroot extract because beetroot is something in beetroot helps your body increase, or it tells you on the bottom there, it boosts nitric oxide for increased muscle blood flow and endurance. So cyclists are well aware of this, And I really hope this comes to South Africa because there's a good market for it already. So that's what we do for exercise. On the next slide, obviously for improved sleep, we have products as well. Magnesium is well known for improving your quality of sleep. Vitamin D as well supports healthy sleep. And something we don't get here yet, but apparently it is coming, is the herbal rest and relax. On the next slide, stress support. Sadly, again, one more time that we don't get this here. Um, I think tree is a fluid, a liquid a version of the tree and N that we have, but it also has pomegranate in it. The super
Well,
B,
yeah, I can interrupt you. And
yeah.
flavonoid.
Oh, it's flavonoids.
Yeah.
All right. Super B, um, we don't get that here either. And the magnesium obviously will also help with stress.
And interrupt, but we do have the B co.
Yes, we got B complex. I don't know how different this is. And then nutritional support on the next slide. Obviously the Pro Vitality, the masculine herbal, which is also apparently on its way. Zinc is extremely important because it's directly involved in testosterone absorption, and the vitamin E. Vitamin E is also linked to better quality of life as we age. So that's extremely important. So obviously, in closing, this is the last slide. You can see that Neolife has everything we need to help men as they progress through their andropause. We can fuel their performance with Neolife Shake and the performance protein and the upbeat. We have vegan D, herb and rest and relax, and the magnesium complex, which is good for sleep. For stress, we have as well, and nutrition, Pro Vitality, but obviously the Neolife Shake would come into nutrition as well there. And then, as we all know, the reasons people should choose Neolife is because we our products are all whole food derived, backed by science, um, and we are focused on the health span, not just hormone levels. And this is what I try to tell people all the time is that look at the differences between medical supplements and near life supplements, and is that ours are always based on whole food derived from nature, food state products that our bodies recognize and easily assimilate. All right, that's it.
Wow. Beyond what can I say?
It was a very interesting a webinar. I last night actually went back and found the link. I clicked on it and it had said expired, but then it directed me to another near life page, which I'd never seen before. Um, and I found it. So I found the link to it. I will put the link onto the group now, so that anybody who wants to watch it and explained better than I did by the author himself, they can do that. And
And
also, obviously, send it to people, send it to men, and send it to the wives of the men who complain that their husbands aren't performing.
I won't make any comments, thank you. But Bjorn, no, thank you. The term andropause for me is a new one in my vocabulary now, and the member of the scientific advisory board who did the talk, can you remember his name? Dr.
Todd Miller.
Todd Miller. Dr. Todd Miller is part of the Neolife Scientific Advisory Board. Thank you. And I think you have given a very good suggestion that we should send it on. Just keep on educating people.
Yeah.
Rob, yes, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think that all I'm doing is sort of enduring stuff. And this last week I got lost. Monica was trying to rustle up all the troops to find me in this small town. So that took a long turn. You didn't quite know where I was. But anyway, but I think even if you walk or if you run, yeah, it for me is as you run, to increase your speed and then drop it again. Increase your speed and drop it. I think it's the same with walking. Okay, now I'm going to walk hard. So let's do lamppost or something and drop it again. Another thing that I have seen that some guys do is that you pick up weights and you walk with weights. Always like to brag a bit. So, oh, well, when I was young, I could pick up 250 kg fertilizer bags and then run out to the field with them. Can't do it anymore.
Sure. Look,
I'm turning my
we're
sound
not
on.
saying that you
So
must
I
not.
can see Bob is itching to say something there.
But we're also, remember, we're also not saying that you should not run on a treadmill or do cardio or things like that. But the most effective exercise for maintaining your testosterone levels is the strength and resistance training.
You don't disagree with that, Bob?
That's definitely the case. But as Rob is saying, as well, HIIT, a lot of people think that it's all very intensive. There's a lot of HIIT training. We set HIIT training programs for people where elderly people. So, you don't actually have to be like us, do a little bit of the crazy stuff. But yeah, it doesn't have to be as intense as it sounds very much. But as Rob says, the important thing is just to get it up, bring it down, and, do that like almost tempo, which you can do with lots of different exercises.
Yeah.
I think one of the takeaways for me today, Bjorn, and because there's a running theme around us with our children at the moment, is on this the strengthening thing with weights. They don't stop going at us. And it's being reinforced by what you are saying. And I'm sure, Bob, you would be saying the same thing.
Yeah, very
So
much so.
that's something I'm going to apply into my life now. Meryl, have you got any questions? Hermine?
Nothing from me, thank you.
Thanks, Meryl. Hermine, have you got? So I think
No,
we'll thanks, Hermine. We'll pull the recording to an end at this point. Thank you, Bon, very, very, very much. We look forward to you doing something similar for us in the